Today, we are diving deep into controls against security breaches. I know, studying for Section F on technology and analytics can feel like a lot to tackle, but don't worry, we are going to navigate this together. I put together this specific lesson for part 1 of your exam to give you exactly what you need to crush it. We aren't just memorizing definitions today, we're going to understand these concepts exactly how the ICMA expects you to apply them.
Okay, let's quickly look at our game plan. We'll cover 1. Cybersecurity for the CMA, 2. The CIA Triad Framework, 3. Preventive, detective, and corrective controls, 4. Physical, logical, and administrative controls, and finally, 5. Some high-yield exam strategies.
All right, part 1, cybersecurity for the CMA.
You know, when a lot of candidates see the phrase security breaches on the syllabus, they instantly panic. They assume it's just a bunch of highly technical IT jargon they have to blindly memorize. But here's the secret. On the CMA exam, cybersecurity is treated as a massive enterprise risk management issue. Think about it. A single data breach? That can lead to huge regulatory fines, stolen trade secrets, and absolute reputational ruin. So the key takeaway here is that your role as a management accountant isn't to write code. Your job is to evaluate, implement, and audit structured internal control frameworks to protect the organization's assets. And in today's world, those most critical assets are entirely digital.
Moving right along to Section 2, the CIA Triad Framework.
So before we get into the weeds of specific controls, you absolutely have to know the 3 fundamental goals of information security. This is the CIA Triad. Let's start with the C, which stands for confidentiality. This is pretty straightforward. It means your data is only accessible to authorized users. As a CMA, you want to think about this in a financial context. A perfect example of maintaining confidentiality, hiding unreleased financial results from non-finance staff. I mean, you definitely wouldn't want quarterly earnings leaking before the official press release goes out, right? That is confidentiality in action.
Next up is the I, which is integrity. Integrity ensures that your data remains complete, accurate, and totally uncorrupted by unauthorized modifications. Basically, are your numbers solid? On the exam, a classic example of protecting data integrity is using controls that block unauthorized manual journal entries in the financial ledger. Imagine the chaos if just anyone could go in and tweak the numbers. Your financial statements would be completely meaningless. And finally, the A stands for availability. Because, let's be real, data is completely useless if business users can't actually get to it when they need it. A great way to visualize availability is system uptime during really critical periods, like the fiscal year-end close. We all know how stressful that week is. If your accounting software crashes or gets taken offline by an attack right when you're finalizing the books, your availability has been compromised. Remember, the CIA Triad guides absolutely everything we do in info security. All right, Section 3, preventive, detective, and corrective controls. So how do we actually categorize all these controls? Well, it's all about timing, specifically when they act in relation to a security threat. Preventive controls are your very first line of defense. Their whole objective is to stop a breach before it even happens. Think firewalls and encryption. But as we know, no system is 100% foolproof. That is exactly why we need detective controls. Their job is to find breaches either as they happen or after the fact, using things like intrusion detection systems and log file reviews. And finally, when something inevitably does slip through the cracks, we rely on corrective controls. These kick in to restore your systems and fix the damage, using disaster recovery plans and patch management. Okay, I want you to lean in for a second, because this right here is a massive high-yield exam trap. The ICMA loves to test this. An audit trail records every single user action, timestamp, and transaction detail in your financial system. So tell me, is an audit trail a preventative control? No way, absolutely not. An audit trail does not stop someone from making a fraudulent entry. It only detects and documents that the entry occurred well after it has already happened. You must always classify audit logs and audit trails as detective controls. Do not let them trick you on exam day. Now check out this huge number, 99%. Jumping back to preventive controls for a second, one of the single most powerful tools we have is multi-factor authentication, or MFA. MFA is basically an identity roadblock. It requires 2 or more independent credentials, like your password plus a code texted to your phone. The ICMA loves testing MFA because it is incredibly effective. It actually stops over 99% of automated credential attacks. It's a textbook preventive control. Let's rattle off a few more preventative heavy hitters you're going to see. We just covered MFA, then we have role-based access controls, or RBAC.
This enforces the principle of least privilege. So an accounts payable clerk can enter invoices, but only the AP manager actually has the rights to approve the payments. Then there's encryption, which protects data both in transit and at rest by scrambling readable text into unreadable ciphertext using algorithmic keys. And of course, firewalls. These give you a perimeter defense, filtering network traffic based on strict security rules to isolate your sensitive financial networks. Every single one of these is designed to stop bad things before they start.
But what happens when disaster does strike? Let's say a brutal ransomware attack hits and encrypts all your company's data. Well, if you have isolated, immutable, off-site backups, you can simply restore your operational capabilities without paying the attackers a single cent. Because of this, backup restoration is a classic, absolutely critical corrective control. It fixes the damage after the breach is done. Section 4. Physical, logical, and administrative controls.
Now, the ICMA will definitely give you scenarios and ask you to classify controls using a totally different framework. First up, physical controls. These are exactly what they sound like, tangible things in the real world. Locks, keycard scanners, security guards, and even environmental safeguards like sprinklers or temperature monitors for your server room. On the flip side, we have logical controls. These are the technical, software-based mechanisms. Passwords, antivirus software, intrusion prevention systems, data masking. If it's built with code, it falls right here under the logical category.
And that brings us to the third bucket, administrative controls. These are the organizational rules and policies governing human behavior. We're talking security policy documentation, background checks, mandatory vacations, which are great for uncovering fraud, by the way, and awareness training. So these aren't software and they aren't physical deadbolts. They are the human-centric rules we enforce to manage our workforce.
Which brings up a rather harsh reality for your exam scenarios. The human element is almost always the weakest link in security. Social engineering tactics, like a basic phishing email or a highly targeted spear phishing attack against an executive assistant, completely bypass those expensive high-tech firewalls. How? By simply tricking an employee into handing over their credentials. Because of this, the best defense against social engineering isn't a stronger logical firewall. It's continuous employee security training. Phishing awareness programs are the ultimate administrative control.
Finally, Section 5. High-yield exam strategies.
All right, when you are actually sitting in that testing center, the clock is ticking, I want you to channel these 3 rules. Number 1, classify first. Read the scenario and immediately ask yourself, is this control, stopping the event, finding the event, or fixing the damage? Preventative, detective, or corrective? Number 2, look for segregation of duties. In any technology question, ensure that system developers absolutely never have access to live production databases. Mixing development and operational access is a massive, massive security risk. And number 3, remember defense in depth. No single control is ever enough on its own. The correct exam answers will always favor a layered security approach that combines physical, logical, and administrative tools all working together. So, let me leave you with this. As a future CMA, are you ready to step up and defend your organization's digital assets using a true layered defense in depth strategy? You are going to be the safeguard protecting your enterprise, and mastering these exact classifications is your very first step. Keep pushing forward with your studies, keep drilling those scenario questions, and I know for a fact you are going to easily grab all those points in Section F. You've got this.